What is a prototype? The way I think about it, a prototype is an experimental model of an idea. It's a way to give our ideas a presence that we can put in front of somebody else to see if our idea has value. As a design researcher here at Google, I put ideas in front of people who use our products all the time. Is your idea ready to be put in front of people? Yes. In fact, in this video series, we'll share with you several types of prototyping methods that you can use to get your ideas in front of people as soon as possible. Now, how will you know when it's right to show your idea to someone else? The fidelity of your prototype should match the fidelity of your thinking. So don't be afraid to share your prototypes early and often to get feedback to guide your next product design decision. So we put together a series of 3 videos to introduce you to various techniques we use at Google. There's sketching and paper prototyping, digital prototyping with form and principle, and native prototyping. So to get things started, let's take a look at how teams at Google take an idea in their head and make the first stroke of the pen on paper.
Hi, my name is Melissa Powell, and I'm on Google's Developer Relations team. I get to work with designers, developers, and entrepreneurs both inside and outside of Google to solve some pretty tough design challenges.
And I'm Miriam Sheikh, a senior user experience designer at Google. I design ad experiences to make them better and simpler to use for products such as Google Search, AdWords, and DoubleClick. And we're here to talk to you about sketching and paper prototyping. I often work in digital prototyping and graphic design tools to create high-fidelity mocks like these. But even at a high-tech company like Google, we generally start the design process with something that looks a lot more like this. By the end of the video, you should feel confident knowing when to use sketching and paper prototyping, 4 types of sketches we commonly use at Google, and 3 primary benefits of paper prototyping. Sketching is a fundamental part of the design process and can help you make key decisions about what to design. It can be as simple as drawing on a piece of paper or even a post-it note. Or you can use any of these common materials to create a more realistic sketch and share your sketch with others. Sketching can be used in nearly any stage in the product design process. You can use different types of sketches depending on who you're working with and what you need to communicate. Sketching is great when thinking through all of the initial ideas running through your head. You can sketch to outline the steps in a user flow, explore a variety of layouts, and to show the basic app structure, or what we commonly call a wireframe. Once you've agreed on the rough layout, we usually create higher fidelity sketches with details such as buttons, images, and color. At this point, you may decide to transfer your sketches to your digital tools, but the more you can flesh out your ideas on paper, the faster you'll move on your computer. During mid-development and even post-launch, you may need to rethink your design and want to quickly visualize new ideas. So you might bust out a pen and paper even if you already have high-fidelity digital prototypes. It can be faster to communicate and validate your new ideas through sketches before you have to make those changes to your digital prototype.
In addition to sketching, another low-fidelity option is paper prototyping. Today I'll cover how paper prototyping can help you think through key user interactions, use color more purposefully, and visualize elevation and shadows. And let me give you some practical paper prototyping pro tips. As you can see with the sketch that Miriam created, it's easy to visualize the user flow, but it's a little bit more difficult to understand the user interactions between the screens. You can use your paper prototype to simulate interactions. For example, if we look over here, I've pre-created some paper prototypes, and we can explore what happens when I click on an individual button. Here we have the floating action button, or the quantity, and we can actually have it drop down. And see what happens when a new screen appears and we're looking at the checkout cart. We can also select the address and a pop-up window will appear. To avoid carrying around your paper prototype from meeting to meeting, record these interactions with your phone. Or you can create an animated GIF by taking a few stills and throwing it into Google Photos' Auto Awesome feature. It's just easier to share your ideas with people that way. Another pro tip is to print out existing screens. Instead of redrawing all the common elements over and over, the goal here isn't to test your arts and crafts skills, but to explore the interactions and natural transitions between the screens. And since we're working with paper, you can also explore different principles of material design, such as color, elevation, and shadows. Material design is Google's visual design language that synthesizes classic principles of good design with the innovation and possibility of technology. And at the end of the day, it was inspired by the study of paper and ink. So why not get back to basics using paper and ink? A good place to start is to think through purposeful and consistent use of colors. The material design spec has a lot of great information about selecting hues and saturations, so be sure to explore the full material design color palette at the link in the description below. And be purposeful with your use of color, not just on one screen, but throughout the app. In general, we recommend choosing one primary color, which is most commonly used for components such as the app bar or background, and one or perhaps two accent colors for anything that you want to grab the user's attention, such as the fab, or to indicate that a tab has been selected. Paper prototyping can help you think through your purposeful use of color because, as a practical paper prototyping pro, you'll want to reuse the colors throughout the app. Not only is that easier, but when this translates to your final product, it will reduce visual noise for the user, making navigation much easier. And because we're working with physical materials, be sure to make note of how the layers form shadows. Of course, we have the x-axis and the y-axis. With material design, we're encouraged to consider and make use of the z-axis, an elevation of each sheet. You can read more about elevation and shadows in the material design spec, linked in the description below.
As you saw, you can use different types of sketching throughout the product design cycle to help you visualize and communicate your ideas in a lightweight fashion with user flows, rapid sketches of many layout options, wireframes, and detailed sketches with images and text.
And paper prototyping is one technique that can help you think through key user interactions and explore material design principles such as purposeful use of color, elevation, and shadows.
Now that you've visualized your ideas on paper, you can shop them around with your teammates or users to validate your assumptions and make smarter design decisions. You can translate your sketches into higher fidelity digital mocks to build a robust prototype. To learn about making a digital prototype, check out the next video in this series.